Hi, my name is Liam, Technical Support Manager here at Oprema. Welcome to the first video in a series of technical videos designed to hopefully help you day to day. I know what you're all thinking, his face is just as miserable as his voice sounds. But don't worry, as I release these future videos, you'll get to know me a little bit better and realise I'm not actually that bad. What I've decided to do is start off with ANPR, the Dahua ITC 237 PU1B series of camera. Currently available in two styles. This style over my shoulder here, which is a motorised bullet, in a 2.7 to 12mm lens. Got a read distance of roughly 3 to 9 meters. Also comes in a slightly larger variant, which is this one here. So it's a 5 to 50mm lens and a read distance of roughly 8 to 40 meters. I'm just going to get everything set up and we'll go through it together. See you soon. Okay, so we're finally set up. As you can see, I'm using the Dahua config tool. I can utilise this to scan for any Dahua devices. Obviously this is my device here. I'm aware of obviously the IP address. So I can click on the web login on the right hand side. We're using Internet Explorer as our preferred web browser because it loads the plugins quite well. And you just need to log in with your security credentials. And they'll load straight in for you. As you can see, there's a highlighted guides section here, which is like a quick start, so we'll run through that quickly. So we click guide. What it does, it gives you obviously the firmware version that the camera's currently running on. As you can see, this is running on last year's software. There's a reason I'm using this firmware, which will become apparent in a little while. There is a slightly newer version before I'm doing, and the reason I'm using this internally will become clear in a second. So once that's correct, press OK. What you can do is you can create a snapshot of your plate, so you can literally drive a vehicle into the scene and you can drag this around, so you can utilise the fact that obviously your plate needs to be roughly the size of this rectangle. Once that's done, just click the next. It just gives you a few references there, so obviously which is correct, which is incorrect. Again, the ability to drive a plate round. Obviously you can zoom in, so you can get a bit up close and personal to double check that for reference is similar to these guidelines. You can check your pixels. We'll have that in a little while. Just click next, and it gives you the option to obviously draw your detect regions. So literally, if you need to redraw, similar to what's on the right hand side, just click redraw, click which you're going to draw, so it's your region or your detect area. So obviously I'll just draw my detection line. I'll save that and press finish. It really is that simple to set up. It doesn't really need much more setting up than that. If you need to tweak it slightly, you can configure LPR on the right hand side here. You can click this, and you also have the ability to shield an area. So depending on obviously the location and sighting of the camera, you have the ability to block out certain coverage area. So you could have maybe cars parked adjacent to the camera. I'll just redraw that again here, look. So the plate needs to be roughly the same size as this rectangle. Just for reference, just makes it a little bit easier. And obviously the plate location, obviously we're in Europe, so we're going to use the EU option. Obviously this camera is an ITC 237, so ITC stands for Intelligent Traffic Camera. Unlike other manufacturers which have got a camera with a bit of firmware, this camera is designed purely to do ANPR. It has its own ANPR algorithm built into the camera. So we'll go through the settings. So for the obviously for the aim, you have the ability to use a loop, sort of an I/O module, such as like a ground loop. And that's configurable in this I/O tab here. Obviously, just for the purpose of this, we're just using video. With intelligence, it gives you the ability to adjust the plate size for the width. So basically, the pixel sizes. So the option here being of you can reduce or increase the size, so you can obviously isolate the chances of reading things such as vehicle sign writing. And obviously you can import XML files if required. Your OSD config does what it says in the tin, on-screen display. You can obviously create the channel, the ID. I've just labelled it the same as the camera model we're currently using. You can change the font sizes, you can change where the time's located, you can customise it a little bit, turn it on and off, drag it about if needed, and also the Snap OSD. As default these work pretty well, but if you do need to tailor them a little bit to your installation, obviously this is where it's all set up for you. Change the colour, change it about, change the vehicle, whatever's required. Snap cutout. This is handy if you're going to utilise the camera with a Dahua NVR. Obviously the NVR you need to use is an NVR 5000 series or the NVR 6 series. This will give you the option to display on the right hand side that any plate reads. So for quick reference, you can just click on a plate and it'll give you a real-time playback. And obviously, most importantly, black and white list. So if you're going to utilise the white list, if this camera again can be used standalone with a recorder, or obviously with third parties such as VMS. If you can use a standalone, you can create a whitelist in the camera, you enable it, and you can do start match. So the keyword here is the character length. So basically, it can, if you've got a camera in a whitelist, it can read 5 characters, for instance, in a plate, and automatically open. So you can tailor this a bit more secure. So it has to read every single character in the whitelist before it open the gate up area. Obviously, using the whitelist, you can add manually. Just click add if you're doing singular plates, whatever it may be, or multiple plates. You just add your plate in here. So it has to be done in capitals. I'll just enter the registration of the Oprema vehicle here. You can obviously set the start and end time, the master of the car. So no authorised or authorised. That's the ability to trigger the relay for obviously to be able to get in and out. You can continue adding, or you can finish up there. Press no, for instance. Also, if you are importing multiples, you can export an Excel document, create a called traffic whitelist. Once that's done, you can obviously use Excel, import all your number plates, then you can re-import it back into the plates. Obviously saves you a lot of time typing away. Blacklist exactly, so you can set that up. And your links with obviously that allows the relay to trigger upon an event. So you enable this. Traffic trash list is your camera, so that's obviously your whitelist. All snap car, so basically any plate reads by the camera itself will trigger the barrier. Plate strobe gives the option, that's a bit of a custom firmware, so we don't really need to cover that at the moment. And order if you link into a server for things like PMS. Hands on, hands off. That's the ability to trigger the relay manually, so if you need to test the relay output of the camera, you can trigger them and use adjustments there by the outputs from 50 to 10,000 milliseconds. Obviously you toggle by each relay. And then literally just the default tab, so you can default everything in the above tab and set it up accordingly. The camera itself has obviously several attributes. You can set it to day and night mode, or auto, or black and white, depending on the installation. You can set the sensitivity to high, medium or low, again depending on the application, and the delay time, so obviously you can flick over slightly higher than it would instead of sitting in no man's land between obviously daytime, dusk, dawn and evening. Then you've got shutter preferences, so you can change the scene again, daytime, dawn, dusk and night, and the ability to adjust the sharpness, obviously WDR and the gamma levels. Again, like I said, this is an ITC, it's a camera purely for ANPR. Obviously you have the option to overexpose the image, so it gives you obviously better reads at night. At default this works quite well at 1/50, but obviously if you need to change it, you can adjust this manually and set it per your application. In the bio below, there's going to be a link to obviously setup guides. So we recommend that the camera is fitted no more than a 30-degree angle away, and obviously in a gradient of roughly, I don't know, 5 degrees, obviously to give more accurate plate reads. I'm not saying that they won't read at further angles than that, but obviously they're designed for optimum performance. And obviously you've got your light to your RS485. You can adjust this accordingly depending on where the camera is. Obviously you've got more IR, you can adjust. So obviously the camera is set to H.265 for encoding, 1080p resolution, and obviously the higher the frame rate the better for reading. So obviously we've got this set to 25 frames a second. And your iframe is usually double the frame rate so you have a camera company set on. So if I drop this down, I don't know, 10 frames a second, it will adjust accordingly, as you can see there. So we're going to keep ours at 25 frames a second. We're going to enable or disable substream depending on your installation. Your snapshot, literally you can leave these as default. If it is doing a snapshot for you, it does the resolution of the camera, 1080. You put the quality that best suits you, and the interest area we're interested in your snapshots. Network tab, obviously the ability to change IP address to suit your network requirements. Connection, obviously there's a maximum of 10 concurrent connections to this camera, and obviously the ports are available. The ONVIF, you can turn the ONVIF on or off if you're going to be using with third party like VMS platforms. Obviously you need this turned on, and HTTPS. With your alarms, you obviously get relay outputs, you can toggle them again, similar to hands on, hands off, and Within one of the earlier tabs, you can just toggle them, lock them open, whatever meets your requirements again. Your abnormality, basically the option to give you an alert, obviously for no storage card. Your storage card's lacking space. There's an issue with your storage card or SD card. The disconnection errors, IP conflicts or multiple IP addresses are the same, and legal access, so multiples of 5 or more logins. You can adjust that accordingly for between 3 and 10 logins. Your storage setup, currently it's set for local storage. Obviously you have your option for FTP. Your local storage is obviously going to be internal SD card. As you can see, it's sitting quite well there, sitting in normal. I've set it to read write, and obviously there's the size and capacity of my card there. I can change this to stop if I needed to, but we'll leave that set to override. The FTP option, obviously we set with configuration. And if you need to obviously figure out what the coding means, there's the options there, and you can adjust it to meet your requirements again. The client, obviously you set this to a server or MAC address. It's using something like the Dahua PMS software, this will be utilised more. And the path, obviously you can set it to where it records if you're using it on a PC or whatever it may be. In your system settings, obviously the device serial number, or currently in there is the model. And you can fill out depending on your time of day, very simple for you. Obviously you can utilise, each can have individual logins, or you can keep it as the admin as default. And an on-biff user, you can add and remove users as needed. You have the SSH and IP filtering, so obviously you can blacklist IP addresses if required. The default tab does exactly what it says in the tin. Your import export, so obviously if you have a configuration of a camera that you've set up, if there is an issue, obviously you can export the configuration and import it into a new camera, so it'll literally be like for like swap out with any issues. The auto maintain feature, this is designed basically to clear any cache in the camera to obviously keep it running as smooth as possible. The upgrade tab, literally you can pick the firmware required for your camera. You can download it off from online or speak to the Oprema technical who can download it for you. You literally pick your firmware, press upgrade, and away you go. There's not much more to it than that. And then your information tab tells you the model of the camera you're using and obviously what software version you're currently running, which is discussed in this guide tab we showed earlier. A log literally gives me a log, and a remote log can be set up for any information that's gone in the camera, and obviously current online users. So if you had multiple users connected, it would give me a full information here. So we go back to live here. I've got ANPR received, that gives me the ability to receive plates. I'm just going to take a little wander over my plate now, and hopefully that'll read straight away for me. As you can see, he's read it relatively quickly, without any issues. I can capture the plate, no problems at all. What I can do, if I double click on this, if I need to double check my pixels, it gives me this option to load up the screen. If I right click and open this with Paint, obviously you can use any other software you require. You find this quite easy. Size, see, 109 shoulder we set earlier on the camera. Go back into your ITC, your recognition, 130 and 240. We find roughly 150 to 200 is roughly the best reads, but as you can see that option there is well within my read, 190. That's basically it when it comes to the setup. There's not much more required. Obviously you can query your plates, you can do a search of your records, because your list of the plates have actually been read. You can picture attributes again for your snap time and selected time, and obviously you can, if you've got to go into a PC or whatever it may be, give the option to verify and watermark your plate reads. It really is that simple. Another thing that you can utilise this camera for, and half the reason I'm using it internally, is the option that we can utilise this with Paxton. This camera is currently fitted with a Wii gun module, and it's connected to the Paxton system, and I'm just going to show you how easy it is to connect this and integrate into Paxton. So what I've done, I've connected this to the technical room front door. I'm just going to set this up for you. It's in reader input 2, so all I really need to do is change my reader type to ANPR 26-bit Wii gun. The token format's exactly the same, and set this to token only. apply that to my door. That is now set as a reader. I have a test user here. I currently have no token set up. Go into new token, set up as a number plate. I'm just going to type this in. Can't type this morning. I've now added that as a reader, as a token to my user. It is that simple to add. So all I can do is now I can go back to my door, go into my events. There's a little load of the log. Always takes an eternity when you're watching it. Yeah, quite a busy building here, so it does take a little while. Okay, so I'm just going to present this plate again. Bear with me. There you go. I can see my internal readers flashing. The internal reader's flashing there. Hello, there you go. Test ANPR. There's my plate details there. It really is that simple, the integration into Paxton. Very, very simple solution. Great asset. They can use the Dahua and Paxton integration. And it really is that easy. Any further questions, obviously give us a call at Oprema, and we'll help you any further, any issues. Thank you for spending the time to watch this video today. In the bio below is a link to the datasheets and also setup guide for those of you who enjoy a little read. Also is a link to the email address almanac@oprema.co.uk. That way you can interact with us. Please tell us your thoughts on today's video and also any products you'd like for us to highlight going forward. You never know, if we pick you, we may even send you a little goodie bag. As long as it's not something along the lines of how to crimp a BNC. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel so you can be kept up to date with any future video releases. Thank you again for your time. See you again soon.